Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1384, 1384. 1984 was the year of the Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. And I had a cup that I got from some event at the Olympics that I kept for a long time till it just deteriorated. So much for using that as a collector's item. Welcome to the show. It's a Friday.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Mike Matthews sharing you little bits of information with you and stuff. That's the name of this segment. It's called Sharing
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Little bits of information. Welcome to the show. Here we are broadcasting from Canada. We're in the land where people like to play backgammon, and we like to dance a lot. I love Coldplay. No, I don't. Maybe not. I don't know. Coldplay's a good band, I guess.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Very wallpapery now. There was a time they were considered alternative, but now they're
Mike's
just this
Daily
fluff band
Podcast.
We like to bash Coldplay.
Yeah!
But we all deep down secretly love Chris Martin, don't we? And I was talking with Haley from the Daily Haley about how Chris Martin sounds just like Sting. Like, oh, who's the other one named Bono from U2? Sounds like he should just rename his name instead of Chris Martin. He should just be Chris. Just one word name. This show is so not going anywhere at the moment, except that someone walked in. Let's say hi. Hi, Mark. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How you doing? I brought my horse standing. Oh, hi.
It's a disgruntled fiddle player, tell you what.
What?
I think you were looking a little too long at my wife the other day. Look who else walked in when she was wearing just a bikini.
Yeah, we had a show called Bikini recently, and Benita walked in a bikini. And I tried to do the thing, you know, where you're looking at a woman in a bikini when you're trying to have a conversation. Bikinis. And you're trying to look at the eyes, right? My eyes are up here, that whole thing. It's very distracting for men when we're looking at the women in the very eye-catching bikinis. But that's the whole point of bikinis, aren't they? You just don't want to leer. No leering. No Lear jets. Were Lear jets created by just really...
And here's today's podcast picture.
Created by men that were leering at the waitresses in the planes? The women in the planes that were wearing the high skirts? Is that why they called them Lear jets? I don't know. You make the call. The podcast picture today is of San Juan Capistrano. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. I was looking through pictures. I've been looking through all the hundreds of thousands of pictures I've taken over the past... Since I got a digital camera back in 2005, I've taken all these pictures, and I've been looking back through them. And San Juan Capistrano is a place I've actually stayed at. It's just there south of Irvine. You go like Anaheim, Irvine, then San Juan Capistrano. Go something like that. It's south of LA, north of San Diego. We would stay there on our way to San Diego when we used to drive down from Ventura, or we would stop there for a coffee. And this is the place we used to play. This place used to be called Hanson's or Dietrich's, something like that. It was a coffee place. It was like a small franchise that was trying to beat Starbucks in Southern California, but it didn't take off, and Starbucks eventually took over this place. But this place always has been a coffee spot of some sort. Somebody was serving coffee in this space, and it's right across the street, and I hate saying the word space, in this space. But that's such the thing, the modern thing. We like to throw the word space around because it's the final frontier. Across the street is the San Juan Capistrano Mission. I've posted pictures of that wonderful mission. It's an interesting mission because part of it's in ruin, but it looks really nice. San Juan Capistrano is a very pricey area. Lots of rich people live there, and everybody has a pool, and there's this neat downtown area, lots of antiques, which you can go into and go, oh, that's old. I think I'll buy that for a crazy amount of money and put it in my house, and it won't go with anything. So this is the wonderful coffee place in San Juan. The other interesting thing about this place was, I remember as we were leaving, getting coffee there, I think the day I took that picture, this new song came on the radio by one Kelly Clarkson called Since You've Been Gone. And that song really made her. It was huge, and it was co-written by one of the guys from the band Evanescence. Interestingly enough. Mike, full of facts. Hi. Look who else walked in.
Hello, Mike. I make the delicious root beer. Have some root beer. Oh, boy. Kelly Clarkson rocks.
Kelly Clarkson. Immortalized forever in the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin when he's getting his chest waxed, his chest hair waxed, and off, and every time they rip off some of his ample hair, which was actually done, what you're seeing is real on the screen, he screams out Kelly Clarkson. You know, there's this thing called C-SPAN, and I love it on Friday because Greta Hausman is on, and she's so lovely. And one of the things that C-SPAN does is take calls from the public, just wide open calls, and they handle the switcher themselves. They'll press the button themselves. They don't screen the calls. Their whole philosophy is C-SPAN is paid for by the cable companies, which we pay for because we got to pay for the stupid huge cable bill that's crazy, and I don't even have TV, and I still have to pay a crazy cable bill because I want the internet. So she takes these calls, and this one guy, Owen, calls in, and he just rambles on and on about the Health Care Act. I guess that was the topic today. Are you so tired of hearing about the damn Health Care Act and how they can't get it passed or whatever? I'm just done. Ugh. Yeah, it's important. And here's the and people have the selective amnesia. They think Obamacare is to blame for everything when, hey, remember, before Obama was even in office, there was this thing where insurance rates kept getting higher and higher every year, and they wouldn't even accept you if you had a pre-existing condition, or they'd make it really difficult for you. It's just ridiculous. People's selective amnesia. So back to Owen, and he had the most boring phone call ever on C-SPAN. And he was using he was talking about some website. If you'd like more information, go to www. Hey, everybody. If you're calling into a radio show or a television show, you don't have to say www anymore. We've passed the 90s. We're gone. We're into the stratosphere of the internet. It's part of our everyday life, and there's no need. The computer figures that all out for you. You don't have to. You just type in the web address. I make it so easy. It's the name of the show, Mike's Daily Podcast, and then you throw a .com at the end. I didn't want a .edu or .fm or .org or .shutup. I wanted just simple. And you can go to Mike'sDailyPodcast.com, see all the past podcast pictures, see some of the podcast Cafe Anyway characters where we broadcast live from here at Cafe Anyway, the last place on earth here in Podcaster Valleymont. And there's also ways you can help out the show if you want to click on the Amazon link. If you're clicking on Amazon today or this weekend, click on that Amazon link at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com, and you'll help out the show that way. And there's also the PayPal if you'd like to help us out that way too. And there's links to all the places, all the social media. We are everywhere. We are social media heavy, this show. We're not just... Check out our Facebook page at I'm okay. Everybody back. Thanks. Mark, should I get back in my bikini? Only if you want. I know it's going to be another hot day today. It was pretty hot yesterday in Podcaster Valleymont. Finally, as I was walking my dog, the wonderful Basil the Boxer, yesterday, I ran into, I think her name's Ashley, and she has a dog named Xena, like Xena Warrior Princess. And she was walking Xena, and last time I saw her, she was pregnant, and she's a little smaller, she's petite. And being pregnant, I mean, her belly was huge, and she had to wear a special brace around it as she was walking her dog. And first off, she's huge. She's just about to have her baby, and she's walking her very energetic German Shepherd, sweet Xena warrior princess. And this woman is amazing, Ashley. She works at a prison in the Bay Area as a doctor, a nurse. She has this crazy commute. She works with interesting people, to say the least. And she's walking around days before her she told me before she actually had her baby. Well, first off, she didn't even want to know the gender. She and her husband didn't want to know. And then she didn't want to take any drugs for painkillers or anything. And I said, how did you do it? She goes, well, I walked a lot. I walked around the track a lot. There's a track near her house, school, there with the track. And she also said breathing. Breathing was the most important thing. Anyway, she has this beautiful baby named Alenia. And I saw her. She was walking Xena, and there was Alenia wrapped up in this, carrying, I've never seen this before. I've seen the backpack things that you put on your back, or you can carry the baby on your front side. This thing that she had on was all cloth and was holding the baby Alenia. And there was Ashley with Alenia. She was walking Xena, and Xena's jumping around, and Basil's all happy, and it was just great to see her, and everything went fine. And I can't believe she did it without drugs. Wow. Because I was a cesarean. And I know my mom back in 1968 took hella lot of drugs, and she was smoking all through the pregnancy. It may explain a couple things about me. She was still drinking wine as she was pregnant with me. Crazy what they did back then. Well, I guess they still do it. And if they do it today, they're really dumb. But hey, that's neither here nor there, or over there, or behind you. Look out what's behind you! Or any of that. It's time now for the segment.
This is interesting.
Wow, this is interesting.
To cover this story, she keeps repeating the same story.
This is interesting. You know, Mike, when you say something, a fact, and then you go, it's not here or there, and you're negating the importance of it. Thank you, person who I don't know who you are, and you should just go away. So Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump have shaken hands. Oh, wow! That is so just... Who cares? During their first face-to-face encounter at the G20 summit in Hamburg, where my cousin lives, who does the Mike's Daily Podcast at the beginning of every show, they shook each other's hands and said they would soon hold a separate meeting and they would soon see each other, said the Kremlin. Putin and Trump are due to hold detailed one-on-one talks on the sidelines of the summit later on today. When asked if Putin was looking forward to the talks and whether he had lots of questions for Trump, the Kremlin said yeah. The Russian leader has been fully briefed about Trump's description on Thursday of Moscow's behavior as destabilizing. Oh yeah, he was talking about that when he was in Poland, Trump was. The group of 20 leaders summit getting underway today. And Hamburg is a German port city, by the way, and I took a boat in the port, was going through the harbor there, and it's just, I mean, wall to wall. It looks kind of like Oakland. Kind of looks like West Oakland there with all those big cranes, the at-walkers type deals pulling off the big, humongous crates, and it's all going on there. And that was one of the major ports people used when they were immigrating to America. In fact, there is a museum that I went to in Hamburg that talked all about that. And what was funny was, since I don't speak German, just a tiny bit, They have at this museum, and they know a lot of Americans like to come to this museum, they have English next to the descriptions of some of the exhibits, and their English translations are usually pretty bad. Just probably as good as my trying to translate German into English. But yeah, it's funny what you read sometimes in the translations. But they're going to talk about today at this G20 thing, terrorism, global trade, climate change, and there was a clash of police and protesters. German Chancellor Angela Merkel says she hopes to find compromises and answers on a range of issues at the 2-day meeting of leading industrial and developing nations. While there's little disagreement on fighting terrorism, prospects of finding common ground on climate change and trade, that looks uncertain. The meeting follows skirmishes yesterday between police and protesters in Germany's second biggest city. I think Frankfurt is the first. Police said that at least 76 officers were hurt, one of whom had to be taken to a hospital with an eye injury after a firework exploded in front of him. Dozens of protesters this morning attempted to block cars from accessing the summit being held at the Trade Fairgrounds in downtown Hamburg, but they were quickly thwarted by police. Then there's an FBI probe into Bernie Sanders' wife, and the FBI source for information that sparked the probe admitted this week that the information he passed along was hearsay. The FBI is reportedly looking into whether Jane Sanders falsified loan documents while she served as the president of Burlington College. The small Vermont liberal arts school closed down in May of last year after going bankrupt and failing to meet accredited standards. Accreditation. Let's say it together. No, let's not. But you know what I was trying to say. Trying to get accredited. Accreditation. Now I'm just making up words. Camera maker Red is building a phone with a holographic screen. The phone will pack a 5.7-inch holographic display capable of displaying in normal 2D media, stereo 3D. I don't even know. Whatever. I'll believe it when I see it. Now, here's one other iPhone thing, and that is if some iPhones face U.S. ban in the Apple Qualcomm legal tussle. By the way, Qualcomm bought all these billboards in the BART stations around the Bay Area saying, oh, we're a part of your life every day. You check us every 9 seconds. You love us and you don't even know it. Yeah, you can just take your ad campaign, take all that money and shove it up your, love it when big companies spend a ton of money on stuff for advertising, and they could have used that money to maybe bring prices down of their product, but no. It's just, don't you love it? It's all for the stockholders. And then if Qualcomm wins its latest legal battle against Apple, it could be a lot harder to buy certain iPhones in the U.S. It plans to file a complaint with the U.S. International Trade Commission accusing Apple's iPhone of infringing 6 of Qualcomm's mobile patents. Maybe that's why they've bought all those billboards in the Bay Area. As part of the filing, Qualcomm wants the ITC to ban the import of certain iPhones that don't use Qualcomm chips, as well as ban Apple from selling devices it already brought into the U.S. And finally, Cirque du Soleil is buying Blue Man Group. Yes, I will never, ever, ever go back to Las Vegas, but if I did, and I wanted to see Blue Man Group, which I saw years ago, about 10 years ago now, and it was pretty fun, and, I'm bald, and I love to see other bald men doing crazy things, and it's cool. And they hit the drums and whatnot, and they do acrobats. Well, Cirque du Soleil does the acrobats, but may they add that to the Blue Man Group? We want to broaden our horizons, develop new forms of entertainment, and reach out to new audiences and expand our own creative capabilities, said the president and CEO of Montreal-based Cirque du Soleil. as we go outside of Cafe Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcast Valley. Really can't stand Las Vegas. So, enjoy Friday. Enjoy Saturday. Enjoy Sunday. Maybe enjoy Monday. I don't know. But enjoy your weekend. Next show, it's going to be Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley. Possibly we'll be doing it on Sunday. And if you don't, listen to the next show. I'll be so mad!
Busted eardrums.
Sorry.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!